the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan. With me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua Brickpad Bevan.
Joshua Breakpad.
Yeah, he wears out quickly and starts to squeal.
Sometimes I squeal right from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. Sometimes you just come in here squealing.
Why?
Right. I don't want to do this.
Oh, no.
So we have very exciting news this week. After my love of Magic Mind, both products, day and night, they have made me an official ambassador.
Oh.
I am an ambassador, so I can go to different countries and talk about, there's like a, like a State Department, Magic Mind State Department. And I'm an ambassador. I am so
Can you get out
honored.
Speeding tickets?
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'm going to get a special license plate.
Perfect.
Magic Mind. Hello, Magic Mind Ambassador.
Yes.
What the fuck you want?
Yes.
Back up, copper. I am so honored to be asked to be a ambassador. And if I haven't screwed it up, we have a wonderful, year-long, long-term collaboration. And I am so excited because I will love it as much a year from now as I do now. And I know I've mentioned that I have a new gig and I'm headed back to school. I'm back in school this week. This semester is social media and the dark web in pursuit of my crime analyst certificate, and working, coming home, taking care of my dog, heading back to class till 9:00 at night. I could potentially pass out. And I know it's Magic Mind that's keeping me going. The Magic Mind Day, elixir is spectacular. And I did one morning I forgot, and I didn't take it until 3 p.m. I was sort of unaware that you could do that. I'm finding out more and more about it. I take it in the morning, typically right before I take my Mountain Dew Kickstart, my other elixir of the gods. And you can combine it with any caffeine that you drink. And I also read, and if you need to pick me up in the afternoon, I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I forgot one morning before heading to work, when I got home to take care of Siren, I took it in the afternoon and it kept me going. It did not give me the jitters. It kept me even. And I just am so in love with it. And even more, if possible, in love with the sleep elixir.
Cool.
I can't even tell you the difference in my life. I sleep so much better. It's not like a deep, hard sleep where you can't get up in the morning, you have a hangover. It keeps you asleep in I don't know what the magic is in Magic Mind, but it is truly magical.
That's awesome.
It just is so great for my life. I love taking my elixir in the morning and I love taking my elixir at night. And they are the bookends to like a magical day for me.
Very cool.
They help me find the magic inside me because I love them and they keep me going. And I need something sometimes to help keep me going. And I just don't ever want to miss it again. So if you want to give this a try, please go to magicmind.com and the promo code area, put Tip-Sters20. You get 20% off and free shipping. And I'm telling you, it's, I wish I could say enough about this amazing product because I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. And I love it. Couldn't love it more. And I'm so honored to be an ambassador. So from now on, Joshua, when you come in, you need to bow or curtsy. It's up to you.
That's okay.
Like pull the legs of your shorts, your cargo shorts out, and then take a little curtsy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Will do.
Yes, I knew you would.
Yeah.
I knew if I asked. I'll probably be wearing a crown.
Of course.
From now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do.
At least a tiara.
At least a tiara, if not a full ass crown, at least a tiara. I started to say sometimes I do around the house anyway, but I really don't. I made that part up. So this is an episode I never, ever wanted to do because so many other people have done it and probably done a much better job than me. But it is a continuation of our long haul truck driver serial killer series. Mm-hmm. And I was actually given a piece of information that I might need to explain. In last week's episode, I mentioned, or the week before, Frank Figliuzzi,
Mm-hmm.
the author of Long Haul, Hunting the Highway Serial Killers. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name right, and I spelled it a couple times. Apparently, it's pronounced Fugazi. I'm like, that's a lot of letters you're leaving out, but you know, those
Fugazi. Okay.
Italians are weird.
Fugazi. Okay.
You
I'm staring at the word right now.
I know you're looking at the name on the book, and
I'm trying to.
You understand my
Fugazi.
conundrum.
All right.
Yeah. So
I don't hold that against you at all.
Thank you. I was corrected by a smartass who
Fugazi. Right.
and the smartass was being kind, but still a smartass. Mr. Fugazi was apparently a commentator on MSNBC.
Oh, okay.
So someone introduced him as that, and maybe that person fucked up, but probably not.
Well, introduced him
as Frank Fugazi,
and
he didn't correct him.
And he didn't correct him. Well,
no, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't. But I mean, okay. So here's the only thing I have as a backup. Paul Giamatti has a podcast called Chinwag, which I've mentioned, and it is wonderful. And if you're into cryptids and Bigfoot and things that are unexplainable, a lot of spacey alien shit, but please give it a listen. It's co-hosted by a philosophy professor from Wheaton College in Chicago, Stephen Asma. And Stephen is sort of the unbeliever and Paul is sort of the believer. And it's a lovely podcast. They're funny as fuck. They have sometimes great guests, sometimes weird guests. But Paul Giamatti one time said, it's actually pronounced Giamatti.
Giamatti.
Yeah.
Instead of Giamatti, it's Giamatti.
Yeah, Giamatti. You leave out the A. It's pronounced Giamatti. Okay. So that's how he says it. It's like, Italians are weird. I don't know. So anyway, Mr. Fugazi, Fugazi, leaving out some of the letters. I didn't mean to butcher your name. The book is really terrific. And his other book, The FBI Way, like The Way of Excellence or whatever. I haven't gotten into that one yet, but the Long Haul book is really good. And this person that we're going to talk about, again, never want to talk about him because I just hate this topic. But it felt like a natural lead in after we did the episode about Jimmy Hoffa and, union truck drivers. It is fascinating that there is this, group that they have put together, an initiative for trying to track down potential truck drivers who have, maybe killed people that were found along the highway. And it's kind of working out. This part of what I got to read today came from January of this year. And by maybe April or May of this year, one person that they were looking for was identified by Othram Labs.
All right.
So it's like everything is a circle.
Okay.
And leads back. This is about Keith Jesperson, the, happy face killer. Now, there's two different, so dumb. If you're going to give a killer a name, I don't know, make it unique. So there's the smiley face killer, and that is someone who leaves the same thing, a smiley face emoji, at the site or near where young men have disappeared from bars.
Okay.
I don't know that they're all connected. There have been many groups of, people who are investigating who believe they are connected, anywhere from 4 to 8 different young men in their late teens, early 20s, mostly college, at bars, get drunk, walk out a back door, get lost, fall into a river, never come back. I mean, it's a very strange thing. Keith Jesperson is the happy face killer because he would taunt, a la Dennis Rader, the media. More importantly, not even taunt them so much as want to communicate with media, and signed everything with a happy face.
Okay. He would write
I killed this. Did this to this person. This person will be found here. Happy face.
Happy face. Got it.
Now, another reason why this week is a little more fascinating than most is that even though he is in the Oregon State Prison and he is, in his 70s now. It's been there quite a long time. He, this week, sent 4 paintings of the Beatles to Laura Ingle of Fox News.
Like he painted?
Yes.
And he sent them as some sort of gift?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
He, first of all, it was a lot of money in postage, like $24, $25.
Yeah, okay.
It was super weird. It came in one of those, it wasn't certified. Yeah, it was in a nice USPS like envelope.
Okay.
And
so he had to save up a lot of cartons of
I'm wondering,
to,
like how does he afford, who's putting money on his books? Yeah. So she opens it up and here's the thing that was really weird. I used to respect Ashley Banfield. I really did. I no longer do. Oh. I always thought she was so beautiful and she wore glasses and she looked like this intelligent beauty. And now I guess she's maybe had LASIK surgery. She doesn't wear glasses anymore. And she looks hard. And she is talking to Laura Ingle about getting this artwork from Keith Jesperson. And she is wearing a gold necklace with sequin or diamonds happy face.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I lost a lot of respect right then.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, that feels a little off.
Yeah. No, it was, read the room. Read the room, Ashley. Yeah. So Laura goes on to be interviewed by Ashley Banfield. And I will tell you that the George Harrison and Ringo Stars, stellar.
Okay.
Stellar.
All right.
The John and the Paul, who the fuck are those two? I mean, those are like, are you sure that that's what you were going for? It's John Lennon and Paul McCartney. They both look like they have consumption. Okay. But the Ringo and the George, pretty fucking on the mark.
All right.
Why he sent them to her, I do not know. I think I mean, deep down, he just wants to be, recognized, seen, and talked about in the public eye.
Sure. He can't do anything else other than...
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he signed anything with the happy face, but, they really weren't good at describing what happened. They showed the artwork and I was like, oh. It was like, okay. Honest to God, Ringo and George, John and Paul, what? Who are those guys? It was like, were these your first 2 tries? Because no.
You got a little rushed at the end.
Yeah, no. I was like, or no, did he start with them and then improve is what I thought. But yeah, that's funny. We have 2 different versions. He either got rushed at the end. I got to get this in the mail. I got to get this to the warden, or he started with them and improved. Yeah, okay. I like your idea maybe better. Because, I was like, what in the holy? It's just, and I think they're in like Sergeant Pepper costumes. So it's very bright. Okay. It's like from the chest up.
All right.
They're very bright and colorful.
Okay.
It's super weird.
And is it paintings like just from memory, or is it from a certain photograph?
That's good. I don't know. Okay. I think they're wearing like Sergeant Pepper outfits, like gold, red, gold, blue band attire with satin and epaulettes or whatever they're called. Yeah. So if you can find the video, it's maybe 4 or 5 minutes long, but just take a look at Ashley Banfield's necklace. And I was like, are you kidding me, lady? You want to be taken seriously as a journalist, and you have been doing this for a long time, and I really respected you. She did, war correspondence from the field, and I was like, she's beautiful, and she wears glasses, and she doesn't apologize for it, and she looks intelligent and lovely. She's a great speaker, and then now she just looks like kind of like an old, hard bar hag. Mm. I wish she'd put her glasses back on. Yeah, an old, hard bar hag who wears a happy face necklace. I hope to God nobody's friends with Ashley Banfield and is going to tell her I said this. But anyway, everyone's listening to this. Yeah. So anyway, Keith Jesperson, Canadian. And just like so many other demented souls, wanted to join the police force. So he trained to be in the RMPC and had an ankle injury that kept him from being hired.
Okay.
He marries a woman. They have 3 children, including Melissa. So Melissa Jesperson, I believe her name now is Melissa Moore, or maybe that was her first married name. I think she might still go by Melissa Moore, but personally, she's married again and has a different last name, and I can't remember it. But if you look up Happy Face Killer, Melissa Moore, she did a long form podcast about being the daughter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And so you can probably get a lot of information from her. There's, and she's a lovely human being who, wants to work on solving unsolved cases. She's a lovely girl and just happened to be the daughter of Keith Jesperson. I can't imagine, being the child of someone who.
Oh, man.
So Keith is unusual in that he's like 6'8".
Oh.
And I thought a handsome fellow, big bunch of thick hair, but wore glasses. Every serial killer, I don't know if there's like a serial killer optical store. They all wear fucking square.
Thick frame.
Not even that thick. No, thin. Like wire frame, square. Big oversized square gold wire frame.
Yes.
Glasses like Jeffrey Dahmer. It's like once you say the serial killer glasses, you're like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. There must be some like store. I don't know if it's in the Pacific Northwest or the East Coast, but every serial killer goes to the same optician. Just, ring me up, Artie. They all have the same fucking glasses.
Huh.
So he has these big square wire rim glasses, but he's, tall, and I like kind of big, doughy, yummy dudes. So he's a big, tall, pretty hair, pretty eyes. It just happens to kill people, women especially. He has like horrible anger issues. He gets divorced from his wife and they have they have 2 daughters and a son. And Melissa is the, I think, middle daughter. And he is living in an apartment. He starts driving a truck. I mean, he drove a truck, when he was married to his first wife. Mm-hmm. And they were married for like a long time, like potentially 20 years, maybe.
Okay.
So he's divorced and he has a girlfriend.
Okay.
And they get in an argument and she pisses him off and he kills her.
Oh.
She becomes his undoing. And in the meantime, he had been sending letters to the media.
About the others?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They believe he killed 8 women.
Okay.
I believe he only, he's so sorry. Okay. He is serving multiple life sentences in the Oregon State Prison. They think he killed 8 women across the country. In 2010, he pled guilty to killing women from 1992 forward. They call her the last victim of his terrible spree was a woman they believe was this woman from Riverside County. It turns out this woman was, I think, originally from Florida. So he had victims in the Pacific Northwest for sure, but a few across the country, including Florida, including California. Okay. And I believe some in the northern part of the U.S., like maybe Wisconsin. And he would sometimes remember names, but not like correct names. He kept calling this last victim Claudia, and that's not her name. If he had a recollection, he would tell them. Once he got arrested for killing his girlfriend, he just sort of started spilling it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's 35 and, apparently weighs like 255. I think he probably weighs closer to 300 because he's 6'8". And, he's not like thin. He's got like a belly, but like, again, I like doughy boys. Sure. So I thought he was, everyone's like, oh my God, Ted Bundy's so handsome. No, he's not. He's a pockmarked, weird, face nut job. And it's not like, Keith Jesperson was like a hottie. I'm just saying he's no John Wayne Gacy. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
And if he did fewer murders,
he did fewer than John Wayne Gacy. He didn't put 32 young men in his basement. Yeah. Only 8 women.
Only 8. So yeah. I mean, it's proper direction.
Yes.
Maybe zero murders. You might consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much more handsome.
Yeah. All right.
Much more handsome with 0 murders. Keith said that he remembers picking up this woman he calls Claudia in Riverside County, and he's on his way to Arizona, but he said the closest I could take you would be to Cabazon, which is kind of a unincorporated part of Riverside County. The only thing I know there is they have an outlet mall.
Okay. I believe you.
Right. You have to believe me because I like outlet malls. So he says that they were on the I-10 and he stopped at a truck stop near Indio and they had lunch at a diner. He said after lunch, they got into a heated argument and he killed her. And he said that he dumped her body off the side of the road in Blythe.
Wow.
So he said Claudia was a white woman with a fair complexion who was 25 to 35. She had brown hair, or maybe it was dyed blonde. She was 5'7" and a medium build. He actually did a pretty good description of describing the victim, who, was not identified until beginning of 2024. Wow. He did remember, and he drew, I will say there's a couple of really great pictures done by Carl Koppelman online of this, was one time Jane Doe. And he said she had a tattoo of 2 dots on the side of her right thumb. And she wore a shirt that said, "Ride me, ride free," at the time of her death.
Okay.
Now it's a picture of a skeleton on a huge motorcycle.
Sure.
I don't think she meant ride her.
No,
because I think she would probably charge for that.
Sure.
Yeah. So the Riverside County District Attorney at the beginning of this year was like, look, we think she is from Southern California, maybe Los Angeles, maybe San Bernardino or Riverside County. We think she was, recognizable. Here's what she had on. We think she was probably a frequent hitchhiker. If you happen to know of someone who went missing in 1992, the sad thing is a lot of these women, no one's looking for.
Yeah.
They're like, she's on the street and hope she's fine.
Yeah. That's
and
sad.
The district attorney said, look, the smallest piece of information could be the key to bringing this victim's identity to light. He pleads, look, we need some closure for her family. We think that she is another victim of the happy face killer. They did get some traction on. So, he tells them about 8 murders. I think he is in prison for 3. Okay. His girlfriend and 2 others that were identified. But he tells them about this woman. And he said, I called her Blue Pacheco because of the color of her clothing. And it turns out she was an Oregon mother named Patricia Skipple. And she was identified using genetic genealogy in April of 2022. So I'm going to say, and no one cares about the McDonald triad but me, Keith Jesperson, as a young man, even as early as at the age of 5, he captured and tortured animals. He enjoyed watching animals kill each other as well. Mm. He got, his wonderful feelings after taking their lives. He would capture birds, stray cats and dogs, and beat them, strangle them. He said his father would have been proud of him, like that his father was abusive.
God.
As he got older, he said, I wonder what it would be like to do this to a human. So he attempted 2 murders as a very young man.
Mm.
At the age of 10, he was friends with a boy named Martin, and the two would often get into trouble together. And Jesperson said, you know, he would make sure I got punished for things that he did, and he would put the blame on me. So he had a, violent rage reaction and attacked Martin until his own father pulled him off of Martin. And he said, my intention was to kill him. And he said, I thought my dad was proud of me. Mm. And he said 1 year later, he's 11. He's swimming in a lake when another boy held him underwater until he blacked out. So later on, getting his revenge, they're at a public pool, and he attempted to drown the boy by holding his head underwater, but a lifeguard was there and pulled him off.
Wow.
He said that he had been molested at a young age. He graduated high school, but didn't go to college because he said his father said, you'll never be able to finish it. He didn't go to his prom, wine. And then he married the mother of his children, Rose, and they had the 2 daughters and the 1 son. And after he couldn't get into the RMPC, he becomes a truck driver. And that seemed to work. So Rose figures out, as she said, he's having affairs because strange women would call the home. He, is on the road one day. She takes the kids and drives 200 miles to her parents' house in Spokane. Ooh. And, Keith Jesperson said, I understand why she did it. She had every right to, but he continued to spend time with his kids. I bet you'll find out information on Melissa Moore's podcast, The Happy Face Killer. Maybe she'll give you insight onto her dad. I mean, I don't have any insight on him personally. I know she's distanced herself from him now.
Sure.
But, maybe she has memories, Yeah. So his first victim that we know for sure is a woman named Tanya Bennett. And she was maybe a little slow. She's in a bar in Portland, and he, walks in, and she comes up and hugs him like she knows him. But I think she kind of did that to everyone.
Okay.
And he invites her back to this apartment that's kind of like a small house he's renting after the divorce. And they get into an argument, and he strangles her. This is what's super weird, is that a couple, an older woman and a probably 15 to 20 years younger than her man, were a couple, and they were drug addicts. And the woman confesses to killing Tanya Bennett with her boyfriend because she wants to get away from him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Laverne Pavlinac was in this relationship with John Sosnowski. And she's like, we killed her, and we need to be put away.
Huh.
She sets up a meeting with investigators and gave them information that really only the killer would know.
Okay. How'd she get it?
I don't know if it's from like newspapers, or she said, I helped him hold her down while he raped her, and then we murdered her, and we need to be put away.
Huh.
Now, when they go to trial, she recants, but it's too late. John Sosnowski, if you look at a picture of him, he looks very much inebriated, pled no contest.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So he's sentenced to life, and she's sentenced to no less than 10 years, which is a lot more than she thought she was going to get.
Sure.
But she's like, I made it up. Yeah. 5 years after their conviction, they're released from prison because Keith Jesperson has been caught and said, I want to confess so that these people, I killed Tanya Bennett. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Here's how he got them to believe him. He said, here's the location of her purse. And the purse had not been found at the crime scene. And I'll be goddamned if they didn't get like explorer rangers, like volunteers, young volunteers. And one of them found it right where he said.
Wow.
So they released the weird old lady and her boyfriend.
That's wow.
Like, how bad do you want to get away from? They were both drug addicts.
Sure.
She's in her, like, solidly in her 50s. He's in his 30s. She looks like a big mom, and he looks like a skinny little boy.
Well.
And, like, she can't get away from him other than to confess to a murder they didn't commit so they can be put in. I don't get it.
Okay. Did they end up clean?
That I don't know.
Because, I mean, that's one way to get free rehab if you want it.
Yeah, but you can still do drugs.
You can still
I've heard. I don't know.
If you don't want to stop, then you cannot. You could keep going. But if you're like, oh, I'm done with drugs and I need rehab, and it's harder to get drugs in prison. It's easier to get clean.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, I mean, get away from her boyfriend, get away from
the drugs,
her boyfriend and the drugs. Yeah. I wonder, I mean, and then if you're clean for 5 years, it might stick, and then you come out and.
That's a good point. I mean, I feel like that's a lot to go through to get clean. 5 years in prison for a murder you didn't commit.
Absolutely.
I guess she thought maybe she'd do a little time as an accessory and that he would, be put away forever. And it just didn't go that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another layer. It's just another reason why I didn't want to cover this case. I'm so not a Keith Jesperson, groupie.
Right.
I just, the whole thing. So is it that he wanted to make, I mean, his answer is, I wanted to make sure this couple did not go away for something they did. Oh, did you want to take credit for it?
Yeah.
You wanted another notch on the wall saying, here's another one he did. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Right. But also he's only taking credit for the 3. He's
taking credit for them. He just doesn't remember their names.
He's okay.
I put them here, and there's nobody that's connected to them.
Details. Yeah, I gotcha.
They haven't found a victim that
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is trying to take credit for 8.
Yes,
but there isn't,
and maybe more. But yeah, right.
Got
exactly. It. Sort of a Sam Little. In the reverse way, Sam Little, probably the most prolific serial killer, over 90 women. And he has a eidetic memory and also a pretty good artist, and learned art in a prison, creativity program, and wanted pencils and paper and drew all of his victims, like down to their earrings and ribbons in their hair, color their eyes, color their skin. Really detailed, use of burnt umber, Crayola crayon or something, but it's my favorite color.
Burnt umber.
Yeah, I don't think they make it anymore, but use of the burnt umber crayon. He did a good job. But I happen to know Detective Kelly Best from Cincinnati PD, who came out here and spoke to him when he was in Lancaster, being held in Lancaster, because he was eventually convicted on 3 women from California. And they had detectives from all over the country talking to him about, is this one of yours? Could have been. No, that one wasn't mine. And I saw a video of an hour-long interview Kelly had with him. And Kelly is about a 5-foot-tall ex-Marine, little adorable sprite. And Sam Little was 6'4" and a big man. He was a amateur Golden Gloves boxer.
Wow.
They called him the stroke and choke killer. He would knock the women unconscious with one punch to the jaw. Ooh. And masturbate on top of them and then strangle them if they woke up. If they stayed unconscious, he'd leave them on the side of the road covered in, but it was a good nickname.
Yeah.
I mean
Very descriptive.
Better than the happy face killer, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like saying it, but it was definitely to the point describing him. So he is talking to Kelly Best, and she goes, so you killed 2 women. You said you killed 2 women in Cincinnati. Yep. One woman you dumped off the side of the road on I-75 near Columbus, or I-71. He goes, yeah, Anna Stewart. Oh, that was her name. It's the most awkward, uncomfortable thing I've ever seen. At one point, he reaches over and grabs Kelly's arm, and I'm like, I stood up at my desk and was like, don't you fucking touch her. Mark helped me upload it, and I stopped 18 times. I had to stop watching it 18 times in an hour because I couldn't. I was like, I mean, he's there. He's not shackled. He is in an orange jumpsuit, big, tall. Granted, by then he was like 78 years old. Right. But he liked her. And they sent each other Christmas cards.
Weird.
And the last one she goes, I didn't hear back from him. And he had died in December in prison. Wow. And I'm like, Kelly, I think it's okay that he didn't get your last card. He said, I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying. And he was sitting there calmly eating a banana in his orange jumpsuit. And occasionally he would laugh. And when he laughed, like his eyes would smile. He was a very handsome man. He was like mixed race and had beautiful green eyes. He was big, tall, he was fucking Golden Gloves boxer. Right. Big arms, and he's 6'4". He was like a big, handsome weirdo. Wow. And who happened to kill a whole bunch of women. Yeah. Like a truck driver going back and forth across the country, but in a big, like, Cadillac. Okay. In a sedan. Stealing, robbing stores for food, picking up people along the way. One was a mother and a son. I don't know if the mother lived, but the son was able to, say, this is what happened when I was traveling with Sam. Huh. Yeah. Anyway, he was trying hard to remember the woman in Cincinnati. And Kelly's like, we don't have anyone that fits that description. He had areas, and she goes, was there a hill like this? Was there? And he was like, it was spring. It was raining. I mean, he really did have an almost eidetic memory. Right. It was spring. It was raining. I was in this car. She was bisexual. She had a Puerto Rican girlfriend. The girlfriend wanted both of us to be together, but I wanted only the one woman. Huh. He said when he strangled her wig came off. Wow. I mean, he had details. Huh. That all of his other details kind of lined up. But yeah, anyway, so Keith Jesperson is like, yeah, this one was named Claudia. That's not her name. I don't know if that's just a name he gave her. This one's named Blue Pacheco because of her clothes. This one I dropped here. So I don't know that he is trying on purpose to give them incorrect information. Oh, I don't think so. Okay. I think he wants more victims to be tied to him. Sure. I think he's just like, he's like in his 70s. Maybe it's faulty memory. Gotcha. Maybe it was drugs. I don't even know if he ever did drugs. I know he drank heavily, but I don't know if he did drugs. But yeah, so he sends to Laura Ingle this last week. I guess she's at News Nation now. She used to be at Fox News. Okay. And she and Ashley Banfield at News Nation. And he said, I hope you enjoy them. I did them with colored pencil. I'm telling you, they're very, very colorful. And he signed each one. And, I'm sending you these because I want to, and I hope you enjoy them. Now, here's what Laura Ingle says, which is creepy as fuck. I couldn't help but notice that all the eyes look the same. They all look like his eyes. Wow. They're similar in shape and size, and they all look like his eyes.
So he sent them to watch her? Maybe.
That's actually a very astute. Yeah. So he's in. Weird. Yeah. He is in, the Oregon State Penitentiary in Salem. He, was finally indicted on a murder from Riverside County. He was extradited to stand trial for another. He's now been given 4 life sentences. And this, this woman in Riverside County was finally identified by Othram Labs. Like I said, at the beginning of this year, the Riverside County District Attorney was like, look, we need help. But they figured it out with genetic genealogy. And I wonder if that's going to be the thing that will help tie more of his victims to him. And it turns out
Yeah.
she actually wasn't from Riverside County. She was from Florida. I mean, she had stayed there.
Okay.
You know, she was kind of a, you know, transient.
Sure.
You know, but she was originally from Florida. So, right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I guess if he offered you a ride and you made it somewhere without being killed by him, you know, you were one of the lucky ones.
Sure.
I can't help but be horrified by a person who sends letters to, I mean, they're all just such ridiculous narcissists, you know,
Right.
the fucking Zodiac killer writing in code, you know, Dennis Rader naming himself BTK, bind, torture, kill. You know, Keith Jesperson, his entire identity is known as the happy face killer. That would be that's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to come up with another name.
Yeah.
But would you call him like the big tall weirdo?
Yeah.
So happy face killer. It's this level of narcissism that is so disgusting. And I told Joshua, I think it was last week, the thing that he said in an interview that horrified me so badly was when he said, I realized I could tie him to the back of my truck and drag him down the road for a mile or two with a chain, tear off their fingerprints and any identifiable parts of their face and put them in off the side of the road, and no one would know. There'd be no connecting. Little did he know the way science works and progresses, there would be biological material from him on them, and there would be their, you know, DNA that could be figured out with genetic genealogy.
Right.
So fuck you thinking you're the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm trying not to get depressed doing this, doing this series, but I do think it's important.
Sure.
I don't think many people hitchhike anymore, and the people that do and accept, you know, rides from truck drivers, they have to know that they could very well be taking their own lives into their hands. So,
totally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So next week, we're going to be doing another charming and delightful case. I've actually had some people email and say, hey, I'm really looking forward to this series. And I'm like, I think I should block you because I think something's wrong with you. But, you know, I'm just kidding. I love all my tipsters. Melissa loves the little tipsters, all the little tipsters in the world. Oh, by the way, thank you, Apple Podcasts, for the United Arab Emirates and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
All right.
We're on your true crime, list again. So,
world tour, here we come.
Yep, here we come. Especially now that I'm a Magic Mind ambassador.
Yeah. Oh,
I have travel privileges. Yeah.
The travel privileges from that.
Yeah.
I'm.
You got your passport, baby?
Yeah, and I need to work. I need to bump up my global languages.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your frequent flyer points.
Oh, my frequent. Oh man,
you're going to have to cash in some frequent flyer because I'm not paying.
Oh.
You'll go cargo if I had my way. I was like, let's give him some trazodone and put him in the underbelly of the plane. We'll wake him up when we land.
I'll go Spirit Air, no baggage.
Whatever you can carry in your pockets.
I'll just wear like 4 layers of clothes.
Spirit Airlines wearing 4 jackets and whatever he can put in the pockets of his jackets.
We'll keep a toothbrush in the pocket.
Yeah, like a pen in your pin protector. We are coming for you.
All right.
We're coming for you. UAE and the Democratic Republic of Congo. We are on our way.
Yes. Economic world tour.
Yeah.
But it'll still be world tour.
Yeah, but still world tour. We're making this happen, baby. Okay, so thank you for joining us for another installment of this long haul truck driver serial killer series. And if you have a particular truck driver you know about that I don't, because there are a couple names I'd never heard, and I was like, oh shit, there is enough information here to do several episodes, let us know. You can always call us if you have a tip on a missing person or an unsolved homicide, or you just want to suggest a case. call us at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837. You can email us at jttipsters@gmail.com. Any of the social media platforms, you can find us just the Tipsters Facebook page, at JT Tipsters on Instagram, at JT Tipsters Pod on Twitter, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.